and he is pursuing a career as a public speaker. And he uses his ministry of speaking to spread the gospel throughout the world. He has a social media following. You can follow him online, spread the gospel of Jesus. But I want to ask Mr. to come up, and he is going to be giving a public speech for us on behalf of Easter. And will you please welcome him to make him feel expected? Say that scared is on the statement. If you ever had a out of body, if I ever had out of body experiences, I'm guessing it's not. So if it's too late to run, let me know it's too late to run. First of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here today. You know, so many churches today, I'm sure, especially the mega ones, they are full of so many people. And two things I learned in this life is the two Q's, quality and quantity. The quantity of people in here versus the quality. There's no other place I could be today, or I'd rather be today than here. I'm grateful. Amen. Gratitude comes to my mind. Yesterday, pastor, and that's different for me because I've known him this so long. He reached out and said if I could come by and give a message. It's so different when you're just in a room creating your content. There's no one looking at you, staring at you. But I'm grateful for this opportunity. So I hope my message resonates with you. And one of the biggest things I learned in this life is, you know, there are people who have a gift. And what they do with it is so important because every day is an opportunity to make a difference. So I'm going to try my best. The story for Easter. I have a passion for real estate. I've always been fascinated by how homes are places where people build their lives, create memories, and find shelter. But today I want to talk about a different kind of property, the real estate of our hearts, and how serving others is the key to truly owning it. Our hearts are the most valuable property you'll ever possess. Just like physical real estate, our heart can appreciate or depreciate in value. They can become places of warmth and welcome, or they can fall into disrepair. And just like in the housing market, the value often comes down to location, location, location. Where we position our hearts is in relation to others. 3 years ago, I met a client named Michael. He was looking for a mother's home in a neighborhood that, frankly, was below he could afford. His financial documents showed he qualified for something much more substantial. Michael, I said during our second meeting, I have to ask, why this neighborhood? With your qualifications, you could be looking at a home twice the value. He smiled that kind of smile that tells you there's a story behind it. I'm buying this house for my sister, he said. She's a single mom with 2 kids, working 2 jobs. She's been renting a place that's falling apart, but she won't take charity from me directly. So I'm buying this home, and I'll rent it to her for whatever she can afford. I remember sitting there, papers in hand, suddenly seeing this transaction and in an entirely new light. Won't it affect your own living situation? I asked. Sure, he shrugged. I'll stay in my apartment a few more years, but my sister, she needs an upgrade. The day we closed on that house remains vivid in my memory. Michael had me prepare 2 sets of keys. He took the spare set and placed them in a small box. Then he handed me an envelope. Would you deliver these keys to this address? Just say you deliver them for some final paperwork. That evening, I knocked on the door of a small apartment. A tired-looking woman answered, 2 young children peering from behind her. She invited me in, apologizing for her mess, toys scattered across the floor, dishes in the sink. The signs of a busy life lived with little margin as she signed the papers, which were actually just draft documents that Michael had created to make It looked official. Keys? When I gave her the keys, I placed it in a box in front of her. I'm sorry, I had a box, I placed it in front of her on a table. And then she said to me, Keys? I don't understand. I told her, your brother asked me to tell you that you and the children have a new home. I explained, handed her the address. He pushes it for you to live in. Her hands began to shake. The children sensing something important grew quiet. But I can't. I can't accept this, she whispered, even as tears formed in her eyes. He said, you say that. I smiled. That's why he structured it as a rent to own. You pay what you can, when you can. But a house is yours starting today. She broke down then, clutching those keys like they were made of gold. What struck me the most happened 6 months later. Michael called me out of the blue. Hey, Swing, can you help my sister find an apartment for a family at her church? They're falling on hard times, and she wants to help them back on their feet. She wants to help them. Amen. Back on their feet. Sarah, who had so little herself, just months before, was already looking for ways to extend the same grace she had received. She understood something profound, that giving, not receiving, is the true blessing.
That's right.
Amen. She had embraced Acts 20, verse 25, where Paul quotes Jesus saying, it's more blessed to give than to receive. Such a short statement, yet so revolutionary in our me first world. This is the heart of Easter. This is what brings me to Easter morning and to the words of Jesus found in Mark 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. What's remarkable is how his sacrifice unleashed a wave of service that continues to this day. Those who truly understand what happened at the cross can't help but be transformed into servants themselves. Here's the paradox of leadership. We live in a world obsessed with leaders, books, seminars, podcasts, all promising to help us become what? Better leaders. The night before he died, Jesus, the King of Kings, knelt down and washed his disciples' feet. In that culture, washing feet was the job of the lowest servant. Yet there was Jesus, towel around his waist, performing his humble task. Then he said these words in John 13, verses 14, 15, and 16. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. And perhaps most powerfully, Jesus expressed the truth in chapter 20, verse 26, 27, 28. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many.
Yes.
Amen. These aren't suggestions. They're a complete inversion of how we typically think about power and influence. I've witnessed this truth play out countless times. The people who make the biggest impact in real estate aren't those who focus on commission, checks, or sales rankings. They're the ones who truly serve their clients, who listen to their needs, who advocate for their interests, even when it costs them personally. I've witnessed many people sign important documents when buying or selling homes. But here's the thing. The signatures that matters most aren't written on paper. They're the marks we leave on the lives of others through our service. So this Easter, as we celebrate the ultimate act of service, Christ giving his life for us, I want to challenge all of us, myself included. How can I serve? What would happen in our families if parents and children alike ask the question? What would happen in our workplaces, our neighborhoods, our church? What would happen if we truly believe that greatness comes not from being served, but from serving others. Sarah taught me that those who have been served will almost inevitably become servants themselves. The cycle of giving continues forward, touching life after life. And Jesus taught us all that true power, true leadership, true greatness comes through sacrifice and service. This Easter, may we not just celebrate an empty tomb, but embrace the revolutionary way of life it represents. A life where we find our purpose in giving, not receiving. A life of servant leadership, following the footsteps of the one who came, not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. Remember, we don't serve others because we have to. We serve because we've been given the greatest gift of all, and gifts this performs are meant to be shared. Thank you all, and happy Easter.